Well, it is the end of the first day of semifinals, and I'm joined by someone who was not playing on stage today. In fact, hasn't played in a while. It's Benny, also known as Psycho Sid. Do you remember when you were Psycho Sid?
I was pretty psycho those days, so my memory kind of fades.
I don't know if you were ever Psycho.
That's what you think.
Okay. Well, either way, so for those of you that don't know, or for those of the people that don't know that are watching, who are you?
Right now, I'm just a washed-up ex-pro player.
Yeah.
Whose I guess latest exposure into social media was through the XDG Rise and Fall.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I guess to sum it up, like that guy did a pretty good job about it. Yeah.
And when was the last time you played?
League?
2014?
Oh, you mean professionally?
Yeah.
Shoot, I subbed for COG for like one weekend that Darshan had, like, he was poached.
Yeah.
Those kind of that scandal. Yeah, probably 2014. I'm pretty old.
Yeah. So okay, for those that do remember you, what have you been doing in the past couple of years?
I have been working for over a year or so now as a web dev in San Francisco.
Because you went back to school?
Went back to school briefly, dropped out again.
Okay.
School can't contain me.
Yeah.
And I ended up just attending one of the coding boot camps because I did have some coding experience before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of helped out. It worked out. And, yeah, I'm like my life right now.
Okay, do you compare your life now to back when you were a pro player? What are the differences, and also do you appreciate this way more? Also, you're kind of escaping the camera. I got to get you back in.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like being really close and personal with me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess for pro play, it was more like a roller coaster, like rise and fall, right?
Yeah.
The beginning, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then the next season, when we actually went to Worlds, that was like pretty fun. And then like the next season was just shit. Like, no offense to like anyone else or the teammates, it was just a bad experience.
Yeah.
And right now, I feel like I like it more because I'm actually working less. Like, pro players, they put in a lot of work, whether it's like scrim hours, actually work hours, but all your solo queue games are also work hours. And it took away the fun of the game.
Yeah.
So now I still play like a little casually.
Okay.
Yeah, I
You
just...
play ranked?
Yeah.
Okay, what rank are you?
Diamond.
Oh. I mean, that's still pretty good for somebody who doesn't compete anymore. That's still not bad.
Yeah, I guess... Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so do you ever... Okay, I know you say these guys work a lot, but are there ever moments where you're talking to some of the other guys and they're like, dude, I just signed this big deal with this team, it's going to be this much money? Or you see, like, how much the scene has evolved or anything? Do you ever have flashbacks where you're like, I wish I was playing? Or are you just like, oh, man, so glad I don't have to deal with any of that crap?
I mean, a lot of the drama that comes up in the scene I find, like, hilarious. I can't think of anything right now, but... as opposed to like getting paid, definitely wish like I was playing like now, or I was a few years younger. Yeah, because players are spoiled a lot more than they were back in my days.
Yes. It was like, wow, we have a house. That's exciting.
Yeah.
What an exciting situation.
Yeah.
Now it's like we need a plane.
Yeah, it was definitely great, like having your only like expenses be money.
Yeah.
Because players don't really care about food. Plus you get clothing. Plus you get like free swag.
Yeah.
I guess the coolest thing we had was like a shit ton of NOS cans that we got because that was our sponsor back then.
Yeah.
But like I'd rather take like lots more tens and thousands of dollars than buy my own NOS.
Yeah. I interviewed at Choster, I don't know, it was probably almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And we kind of had this funny thing where he was talking about being an accountant, and I asked him if there's ever a moment where he's just sitting at his desk doing his work, and he looks over and there's just a picture of him on stage that he has like framed on his desk, and the crowd, like, he hears it in his head, and he starts kind of thinking back to the days. Do you ever have those moments where you think back to all that?
Not usually. I guess the only thing that really sparked it was like the rise and fall things. Oh, like my glory days and my not so glorious days.
Yeah. You're like, I like the rise, and then you're like, can I just turn this video off now?
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, just cut the video, especially like after they started talking about all the drama at the ladder split that we had. Yeah, that's a lot of haunting memories.
Do you keep in touch with any of the current or old pro players?
Yeah, I feel like one of my best friends from the LCS is Cruiser still. Even though like he's like completely out of the scene, like I still talk to him a lot. And then there's Austin, who's Link, and Jake, who's Smithy, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
And I do send Gene the occasional Snapchats.
Okay. Very nice. The occasional Snapchats. Yeah. So overall, life's good for you. Life after pro is good.
Yeah, it's great. I'm actually a father. I have a 1-year dog.
Okay. Well, for a second there, I was like, what? Oh, okay, yeah, the dog.
Yeah, like what happens when players retire, they just find another meaning in life, and mine just being a father. Yeah.
Did you ever consider, because a lot of people say, like, oh, what can you do after, what do pro players do after, and some become coaches, some work at Riot, some go do, like, consulting stuff or end up at Facebook. What do you, like, did you ever consider doing something that was still kind of within the esports or gaming space?
Yeah, like, immediately after retiring, I, like, had some offers for, like, partnership positions, like, whether it be at Twitch or at Riot. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll move back down to LA, and if I do, then one of my first companies that'll be on my list would be Riot. Okay. So maybe that might be in the future, but aside from that, like, it's nice knowing what else is in the world aside from esports, because we are in, like, a bubble, although it's, like, slowly assimilating into, like, real life. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it probably will come up in the future. Yeah.
Very good. Well, anything that you want to say to any of the Benny fans out there, or even some of the Psycho Sid fans out there?
Just remember the days of Psycho Sid and not as Benny when you think of my play. And I guess, yeah, shout-outs to the people who, I guess, still remember me. Yeah. And then the IMT fans, because that's my team right now, because I follow wherever Jake goes. And speaking of Jake, shout out to his family, too, because, like, we were sitting next to him in the audience, and, like, the ground was shaking. It's because his dad's at the edge of the seat, like, you know, just shaking his leg constantly, and they're yelling and clapping. It's pretty hype. Like, the reason my voice is like this isn't because I was hyped. It's actually was just recovering from a sickness. I'm good. It's just, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm okay now. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Super good to see you again. Hopefully you move back to LA soon. It is way better weather, way cheaper, and a lot more fun. Yeah. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things esports, including washed up pro players, here on my YouTube channel.
Yep. See you guys.
Hey everyone, I'm very excited about playoffs and Worlds coming up, but guess what? Travel is very expensive. So if you enjoy my interviews and you feel like it, you can go help me out over at travisgafford.com/support.